I'm Patricia Mbatia Macharia. I'm a creative collaborator. I get excited about the creative process and communication. I'm a teacher at heart. I'm an adventurer. I love to travel. But most of all, I love to see new things. Anything. So I'm hooked on television. In my past, I worked for a TV company, so loved it. It wasn't like work. Because I'm hooked on platforms or things that show you the world, that show you what's out there, that show you the possibilities, and also that show you what people are doing that's exciting, that's new, that's different, that's colorful, that's deep. I always tell people that I'm a country bumpkin who loves the city. I grew up in the village. My dad was in the army, so we used to be around the barracks. So we were in Nakuru, we were in Nanyuki. I grew up in Limuru. Part of my high school was also in Limuru, in Loreto Limuru. So yeah, I grew up in the village. And what I loved about the village, in fact, I always say to people who grew up in the city sometimes don't understand that in the village you have to be real. You don't have frills and flounces because you really don't have all that much. You don't have the fashion. Well, when I was growing up, we hadn't really sort of broadened out from Nairobi into the rest of Kenya. So if you're in the village, you tended to be on the fringe. So you don't have all the nice things everybody has, but you have conversations and you have real people around you. So you make real connections and you make real relationships. And what things are is what they are. You don't color them, you know. So I always say the beauty about growing up in the village, and indeed I grew up in the village, in Nanyuki we used to go fishing with my siblings in the rivers on the mountain. That was our fun. There was no television that was shaking over there because the mountain used to give us, when you try and put it on, it's snowy. You know how it... So we used to be like, my God, we can't be over here. And anyway, there was no television until 4 o'clock. So actually, I think I became creative because there was no other thing. So I would just start drawing. I'd draw, I'd paint, then I'm bored again, then I would paint some more. Then one time my dad looked at my things and thought, we can sell these things. He would sell them and then I'd be like, I can get money from this. I'd draw some more. So it allows you to explore what talents you have and try and use the opportunities around you that are quite few, but use them to the maximum. You know, I always laugh to myself because I think I used to have 100 thoughts. I find it interesting, the people who, at the point they were growing up, had a very clear view of what they wanted. I didn't. One time I'm really excited and I want to be a journalist. Next time I'm like, oh my God, these pilots that fly everywhere in the world. Imagine being able to get up and go anywhere. I used to just see things and be like, oh, that would be interesting, that would be interesting. So I didn't really have a clear picture. And even now, if you think about it, my career path hasn't been anything that anyone would have told you, map it like this. And for me, that then tends to color how I see things. When people ask me, what were you dreaming about? I was dreaming about new experiences. I wanted to have new excitement, impact, and also I wanted people to alleviate boredom. Like, if I can find a way to make you excited, whatever your lifestyle is, and to have you engaged and have you embrace a new idea, a new thing, a new product, I think for me that's what has sort of colored my whole journey. In high school, I was excited for creativity. So I had planned to go to Nairobi University and do graphic design, and thank God I didn't do that. But that was my plan at the time. That was what I was thinking about. So we finished high school and there's this new university that has been built that I think they were rounding up students for Moi University. And somehow I got on the list of Moi University and all my friends were going to Nairobi University. I could not believe it because this was my one chance of coming out of Limuru and actually being in the city. Yani, I couldn't believe it. I was now being sent even further afield. And then at the time, my sister got lucky and she got a CEDA scholarship to Canada. So can you imagine? I'm comparing Moi University, a Canadian university. I'm like, Kwani. It was the funniest thing ever. So anyway, so I got called to Moi University to study teaching. I did an education degree and I thank God. In retrospect, I'm excited that that's what happened. At the time, I was not a happy bunny. I was like, oh, that is not like what I was planning to do. But what I discovered when I went there were a whole heap of people from all over the country. And it was such a mixed group. So you get to experience, and then you have friends who come from places you haven't been. So sometimes you go on junkets to those places. You don't have the city to escape to, so you have to make your fun. So it was back to I think this whole thing of being in Shags has always been my thing. So it's back to making your fun, back to being interested in other things other than the razzmatazz that can be in an urban setting. And yeah, we made friends, we had a good laugh, we traveled, we used to go to little towns and really enjoy ourselves there. And it wasn't so bad, actually. And I started to be a teacher. I did teaching practice, I was very good at it. But I was like, I'm not sure this is it for me. I couldn't see a progression from there. So when I finished, I had a chat with my dad, and he hooked me up with a friend of mine who was also studying art in KU, and we started an art school. And we laughed all day and night for like 3 years. We were making some money and losing a lot of money and not really knowing what we were doing, but we were really enjoying ourselves because we were doing what we were passionate about, which was art and creativity and crafting things and teaching young children how to be an artist. So it was great fun. So my friend did some interviews, and she got picked to go and run, I think, an art department in some organization. I was trawling the newspapers. I'm trying to find a position because we've agreed that this is what we're doing first. So what did I do? I sent my CV around, but because I wanted to be different and unique, and I was like, anyway, let me have fun with it, I made this really interesting, poetic curriculum vitae, and then send it around. And this one gentleman at SC Johnson, at the time it was Sarah Lee, picked up. I was applying to be a brand manager. Didn't even know what that was, but it looked interesting. So I sent my CV there, and it was very colorful and very different, and he picked it up, the MD picked it up, he looked at it, he called Chris Harrison at Young and Rubicam and said, I've just seen a CV here that seems like fits better in an advertising setting than in my organization. Will you have a look at this person? So the next call I receive is from Miriam, who's Chris Harrison at Young and Rubicam's PA, who's like, do you want to come and have an interview? I'm like, okay, I didn't apply to there, but I'll come. And so I went, and they were like, yeah, come. So I joined the production department, and I was in advertising, and I loved it. And I never knew about it. I never knew about the world. Call me dumb or blonde, I don't know. But truly, I did not know about advertising as an industry, you know what I mean? So when I discovered it through this route, I was so excited, and it was my path. That was it, yeah? And then we started having conversations about public relations. And so we started a PR agency. I was part of ideating. What will we call it? What does it look like? What kind of work do we do? I was interested for it because it looked interesting. And then when I did that, I did it for a little bit, and then I saw an ad that was asking for someone who wants to go and run, I think, communications for a TV company. I was like, imagine being paid at it to be part of a TV company. What? I ran over there quickly. Do you know how to do PR? Yes, I do. Did I know? No, I didn't. But I was like, anyway, see, I'll learn. So I convinced them that I knew what's happening in the public relations side of things. I was actually in the agency, I was production. But I was like, yeah, see, other people can do this, even me, I can. So I convinced them, they got me on board. Now you have to learn, because you can't now start telling your boss, actually, I have no clue, but you've employed me, it's okay. So you're asked something, you're like, okay, I'll come back to you. Then you run around and hook it up. I hooked everything up because I was so scared they'd find me out. And over time, it became the thing that I loved the most to do, and I enjoyed it. My parents were very clear. Don't be half-baked. Make an impact. Why are you alive? Make an impact. Don't just be over there being wishy-washy. Whatever you do, make an impact. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're digging in a shamba, make an impact. Whatever activity you're involved in, be fully involved in it and be part of it. But the first thing I would say to somebody is first find what you're interested in. I find a lot of people want to do things that look exciting for other people, but then it's not their forte. If it's not your forte, you'll never be very excited for it. So try and gravitate to what you're excited for. You may not know how to do it, but if you keep getting drawn to it, like you could do it for free because it seems just this thing that your heart beats for it. You know, like it draws you. You're keen for it. You're interested in it. Do that. If there's one thing that a person who's employed needs to know is choose where you're going to be at. Let it be resonating with your heart. Secondly, do your most. Yani, no one can fight with you for doing your most. And that step that you'll take there will lead to another step and another step and another step. Lastly, create relationships that work. Win-win relationships, but relationships built on respect, on integrity, and on just being a generally good person. Because whatever relationships you build always come to bear in the end. In the long run, by the way I look back, my stepping stones were always the work I've done, the reputation I've built, with the work that I'm dying doing, and the relationships I've built with people. And they always, like I sit in a room and I'm like, gosh, I know so many people nowadays, but over time there is a narrative that they know about you. The fact that you will deliver, come hell or high water, you will deliver. For me, that was important. Creativity, that was important for me. Making life light and fun, like it's never that serious, that's important for me. So it's just be true to who you are, don't have baggage, follow your heart to where it leads you to. But when you're there, don't slack. Be the deadliest thing they've ever met when you're there. When you leave, people are still talking about you, how you are deadly. Whatever that thing you are doing was, even if it's whatever rank it was in the hierarchy. Corporate jobs are the deadliest. When you're employed, you don't have to worry about where is money coming from. You just do your thing. Hey, until you become an employer. Then your staff and your partners and all the support structure around what you're doing becomes primary to everything else you're doing. So I think the first thing was, people first of all don't want you to look like you're about to do something like that. In Kenya, we're not brought up to think you can do a very successful thing and then finish with it and move on. People get shocked with that. They're like, why are you leaving that? It's already amazing. You don't have to go and prove anything. You're ready, you're done. Stick there and enjoy the fruits of your labor. My problem is I get restless. So by the time I moved into what I'm doing now, into being an entrepreneur, remember I was an entrepreneur from the beginning. I just took a hiatus to go and try and figure out this corporate world, the rules of the game and stuff like that. But in my heart of hearts, I've always been, walking to my own drum. And sometimes that can rub people the wrong way or misalign. So I needed my own space where I can do my thing and where I can be excited to do my thing. It's a very scary, but I love to build things. Remember, I'm a creative at heart. So for me, the aspect of building, that, let's craft. What shall we call this entity? Now let's make it a brand. Now let's build it. Let's get a client. Let's do amazing work. All that, I can wake up like this every morning skipping, just thinking about that. That is what I'm doing for my day.
At Game Changer Marketing, we simply aspire to do our very best work.
So how did it begin? I met my partners, my current business partners. I met them at a friend's wedding and we were like, you know what? We've talked about some things that we want to do and we've always wanted to do them and they're very like minds to me. Why not do them? I'm gonna do this. Are you guys in with me? And we just started like that. It was like a joke. So this was my office and all my staff were sitting in here in this space. So there was me, my finance manager was sitting next to us. So there was this office and this one, and my operations manager was sitting there, and and I was a client service, KYM, everything. Yeah. So this was it. So we started and we were like, yeah, we're a happy bunch. Let's go look for clients and let's pitch them amazing stuff. And the first big project I got was my first job, and I was amazed because it just fell in place. And I was suddenly doing the World Cup consumer experience for Coca-Cola and MultiChoice, and I couldn't believe it. But what happened? It was relationships. I had relationships that I'd maintained for MultiChoice and relationships at Coca-Cola, and I knew that the two of them were doing the same thing. So I hooked them up and I sat in the middle as their connector of all these things. And that's how it landed in my lap, from nowhere. But of course, there was some work being done behind the scenes to get it done. Others couldn't see it, but I could. And I tried not to listen to them and the naysayers. You know how you're told, nowadays business is hard to run. I don't know what. I was like, yeah, but also being employed is hard. Anyway, is hard. So let me do that hard here while I'm, doing my own thing. There were a lot of people that knew me, knew my reputation, but for some reason chose not to believe in the fact that I would deliver, whether I was working for an established organization or a startup. So the first thing is that you get shocked about, people don't pick your calls. When you're used to people picking your calls, suddenly they're not picking your calls. So I was like, Allah, ndio hivyo, gosh. But then I also discovered that people who don't have preconceived notions about you, who are open to have a conversation about something they're excited to do, are actually the first ones who will pick your calls. As long as you stand for something and you can back it up, you're okay. Some of the challenges are also money, where there's a big project you're trying to figure out on how to do it. You need to figure out, how am I going to finance this? What am I going to do to make sure I'm liquid enough to keep going? I'm a firm believer, as a human being, your life is a collection of experiences that make memories. Things you've gone through, people you've met and had these deep conversations, fun that you had with somebody, fun you had with yourself as you went through certain things, places you challenged yourself and then came through that experience and succeeded in the end. Experiences drive the world. Human beings, and nowadays you can see how people want to even record the experience. Everyone whips up their phone and they want to record that moment. Human beings are all about living life one experience at a time. And for me, that's what drives me. I get so excited about an experience because that's what you'll remember. There's life, and then in the middle of life are your highlight moments, your milestones, these experiences you've been through. The experience of going through exams and succeeding or failing. The experience of going into university and those first years. The first friends you made, your first boyfriend, your wedding. These are all experiences. The first campaign you ever ran, the first story you probably ever interviewed, These are all things that you look back to and they fill your life with a joy. So I'm a strong believer in experience, and that's my world. Even my business is based around creating brand experiences, creating experiences that people go through and they feel I've lived this life in this moment. And it's a significant moment that I want to capture and remember. Like years forward, I'll look back and I'll remember this moment. What I would say to anyone is, whatever you go through always helps you build the next thing. Life is like a staircase, like milestones, like you're building something. And whatever you've gone through is never lost. Even if it's a one-day experience or a one-day, thing that you did, a place that you went, a person you spoke to. Over time, these things build up into the thing that takes you closer and closer to the thing you're excited for. So follow your heart in the things that resonate with you. Like if it pulls you towards it, follow your heart there. Secondly, be authentic. Yani, there's no need to be anybody else. Be who you are as you are. In fact, I always laugh and say, it's really interesting how when people tell you that, sometimes they're like, so what does that really mean? But what it means is don't put on any airs that are not you. Like at the point where you're relaxing on your couch at night, are you that person versus the person that people meet wherever it is? And the fact that you're called something, it doesn't matter whether you're the CEO or, you know what I mean? Like whatever your station in life is irrelevant to your human connection with the people around you. So put those things aside. Those are nice, they're titles, but they're just medals. It's like being a Banana Republic general. It's fine until you remove that jacket. Who are you? What are you about? What are you excited for? Infect other people with the things you're excited for. Surround yourself people who are excited for the things you're excited for. That way you build a bonfire around that. And you really spark, a good flame that says we're excited. So I'd say find your you, and it's not a thing. It's not a final destination. You're always crafting. You're trying to be a better person, to live a more holistic life. So, but keep doing it authentically. And I think the other thing I would say is if you're running a business, keep it clean. Keep it in the integrity side of things. I find if you have nothing to look back and regret, you're better able to look forward, and you never have to flinch. You can sit in any room with anybody and have any sort of conversation without worrying, I don't know what come out or whatever. Really, that's irrelevant. It needs to be who you are, clean. People are clear what you're about. I like to walk into a room and everyone knows what I'm there for. I like to sit with my staff and know we are here, we are building on excellence in delivery. We are bridging the gap between creativity and execution. We are landing beautiful brand experiences that surprise and delight our clients. And when we look at them like this, they are indeed surprised and delighted. And then we pull from that energy and build more. That's what I'm about, and I'm always asking people, let's do that. Let's do that thing. Success is doing what you love and loving what you do, and living your life in a way that you're making a positive impact around you, whatever style you're able to make that positive impact. And it could be in lifting another person's spirits. It could be in helping somebody else get a promotion because of the sort of work that you've done for them. It could be, I grew up in the village, and sometimes we didn't have options, like products. You'd maybe have like one sort of soap and that's it. Like you have no choice. That's it. So for me, what makes me so excited is to learn the power of opportunity by seeing what's out there. So open your eyes to what's available. And I want to be part of that process of helping people. And for me, success is that, to be able to lift everyone around me so that together we're opening our eyes to the opportunities that are there. We are currently running the Blaze campaign for Safaricom. And that is one of my most exciting projects that I've ever done. We sat down and collaborated with 7 brands at the beginning, and we won the pitch. And there were like 100 agencies doing that pitch, but we won it. And we won it purely because we collaborated with the right talents, but we also deeply understood and really are excited for mentorship. And success being what you want success to be, but I can also infect you with what I think it is, and together spark this fire so that you can keep on looking at the possibilities and going after them. So for me, Blaze is my epitome of success, being able to share your moment, helping where you can help, and allowing people to see possibility and pursue it, and then celebrating that possibility. I think my greatest achievement, and I don't know if it's my achievement or I've been lucky, is to find that thing I'm so excited to do that I'm actually not bored to do it. Like I'm really excited. And then my second achievement is I found people of like mind, because I thank God every day for my team, and I thank God every day for my husband, for my nanny, for my daughters, for my family. Like my mom was traditional, quite traditional, but very futuristic. And my dad too, So I thank God for having that around me. So I thank God I found that calling, that thing that when I enter a room, I'm very clear that I can add value.